everybody, this is Tina. Welcome to my video today. I have a special project for you guys. I've not done this in a really long time. I'm going to put together a traditional scrapbook page. So we have some 12 by 12 cardstock here, but I'm also going to pair it together with a photo pocket. So I have a Design C. This is a Becky Higgins page protector, and I just cut it down. So you just chop off half of your page, and then it creates this 6 by 12 that we're gonna pair right next to it. So my friend Chris is here. It's really late and we're crafting. She's making some big giant flowers because I'm obsessed with them now. So she's creating some of those so that I can see them. I want to hang some up in my craft room, and I'm doing this layout, and I thought I would share with you guys how I'm putting this together and this paper that I'm using. So I'm using this paper from Stampin' Up. So if I laugh, it's because I have an audience, and I don't usually have an audience, but that's okay. So I'm using this paper from Stampin' Up, and you guys know I love cameras. So here's this design right here. Has all these cameras, right? But it has these ugly colors, like this pink and green. I'm not digging. So I needed to pair it with something else to make it not ugly, right? Because I wasn't down with this situation right here. So I am going to use some of the green and some of the pink, but I think it's going to tame it down a little bit for me. But this paper, there's some really cute designs. There's the yellow stripes, and then there's these dinosaurs, which I love. And then there's also this, which is super cute. So if you're doing a lot of outdoorsy stuff right now, this is super cute for that. So what I did, I don't have a lot of 12 by 12 paper, you guys know, because I do Project Life, right? So I don't need 12 by 12 cardstock. So I just happen to have this one sheet in my stash. So the way I store my 12 by 12 cardstock is in this container right here. You can get this container at the Container Store. I think I tore the sticker off of it. I'll link it. So you'll want to go over to my blog post to check out what this is. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but it's the medium size one, and it fits 12 by 12 cardstock perfectly, or designer paper. Your designer paper would fit in this too. So I have a couple of these, and I just dug through to find the right color. Okay, so we're going to start with this 12 by 12, and I'm just going to do a one-sided traditional page. So sometimes we get in our heads that things have to be a certain way. Like if I'm going to do a traditional page, it has to be two-sided and everything has to match, and that has to be the same subject. Like, right? Like if I'm going to do pictures of my daughter, where are they? Right here. Swimming, then maybe the other side should be swimming too, but we don't always have to do that. So what we're going to do is this one-sided, and we're going to put some of our patterns here, and we're just doing really simple layers. So I wanted to use several of these patterns, but I also wanted to break it up with this black. So this is, I forgot what I cut it at. Let's measure. So this is like almost 4 inches. I eyeballed it. So you could do 4 inches, and then this piece is almost 2 inches. So I don't know what was going on with my trimmer. I just must have been yakking my mouth and cutting paper. So almost 2 inches. So maybe do that one 2 inches. And then this is 1/2 inch. So clearly I was paying attention to that one. So you could do any of these designs, right? So I did some of the white, and then I picked a pattern. So there's a couple different. This yellow one would work. This green one would work, and this pink one would also work. So any of those would work. So now I'm doing another really simple layer, and this is a 8 by 8 square. So I took a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and then I just cut it at 8. So it was already 8, and then I cut it again at 8, and so that gave me 8 by 8, right? I better check now, because I'm thinking, is it 8.5? Oh, like, see, one side is 8.5. So it's 8.5 by 8, which explains why it was a little weird, actually. Okay, so let's just put these pieces down. Okay, so part of the reason why I wanted to jump on here and do this is because I wanted to layer all of my pieces, but I wanted you to see how I layer my pieces together. So I like to use an ATG gun for this because with the 12 by 12 paper, I'm using more adhesive. So I like using the ATG gun because it's super easy to get these down. So then what I'll do is I will use my grid mat to line this up. So with your ATG gun, when it's a very aggressive adhesive when you're using ATG. So what I do is I don't press it all the way down when I first am working with it, just in case something like that happens. So if you just tap it down, you'll be able to lift it up. Once you really want it on there, then you can just press it down and that adhesive is going to stick. Perfect. Okay, so now we have our black cardstock, and what I've done is just tied a little bit of yellow ribbon. I did the cheater method for this bow, which means I took a strip of ribbon and then I took another strip and I tied it together. You guys have seen me do that before. And then I put a little glue dot right under that, and that's gonna hold that bow down. And then see, there's tape on the back. So I just wrapped it around and then used Scotch tape to stick that on the back. Okay, so originally when I was thinking about this design, and actually when I put it together before, I had this all the way over here. So my designer paper was more in the middle, but because I already glued this down more on the edge, I'm just going to go ahead and leave a little bit of the designer paper right here where you can see it, and then this is over farther. So now for my pocket, I've just picked the designer paper here, and I wanted to pull this color in because I didn't use a lot of it, and then this mat was black, so I wanted to pull it all together. So now in my album, it's gonna look just like this. These white pockets right here will be where photos are. So next I have taken Emerald Envy and I've matted these two photos. So here's a quick tip for you guys. Whenever you're putting photos down on a traditional page, you want to look at your people that are in your picture, and you see right here Kayla is facing this way. Her back is right on this side. So instead of putting my photo like this to where she is pointed off the page, like she's not looking at anything over here because it's the edge of my page, I'm gonna swap these two photos so that her body is facing this other photo. So I have several photos of her like this, but what I did is I took one of the photos that is maybe the whole scene, like this was a pool party she was at. So we have the pool and the grass, which is green, which is gonna pull in the color green we're using, and I'm gonna point her body towards that photo, and then your eye, when you're looking at this page, your eye is gonna naturally focus in to the middle of the page, which is what you want. So the next thing is, this is not going to have anything to do with swimming. So on this side, I'm going to document her reading that she's doing this summer. So what I've done is a few things. I want to pull in this Emerald Envy. So I'm going to put a strip of paper right here. And then there's a couple other things I want to do. Now this paper, this designer paper, has a stamp set that I don't own, which is it's a super bummer, right? And Wendy is camping, and so I usually go to her house. I call her the Stampin' Up store because she usually has everything I don't, and she's camping this weekend, so I can't go borrow her stamp set. So I just dug through my stamp sets, and I have a few here that are not Stampin' Up. So the first one is I have my Allie Edwards stamp set from my story kit this month, and I thought it would be fun to use this stamp that says Super Good Times. And we're going to stamp that right above the photos. And then I also pulled out this. Now, if you've taken any of my Project Life classes, you guys have seen me use this stamp set because it has photos, or I'm sorry, it has cameras in it. And I love stamps that have cameras. So what I'm going to do is I punched out some circles with my 2-inch circle punch. I'm sorry about that glare, you guys. These new lights are still... I'm still struggling with them. So I punched out some 2-inch circles, and this is Sahara Sand cardstock. And I'm going to add 3 circles on this side. And then just to tie everything together, I'm going to put a green strip here, and then a circle here, and I'm gonna stamp a camera on here and a camera on here. So one of the things you want to try to do if you're doing another layout that's right next to it, it doesn't have to coordinate. I could totally do a different layout that had nothing to do with this layout, but because I'm using the same designer paper and it sort of is tying in with the summer theme, what I want to do is try to pull some elements from this page over here. So that's where the green comes in, and the circle, and then the camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere all this down, and I'm going to do my stamping off camera, because you guys know I'll just get it all crooked if I try to do this on camera. I'm going to stamp everything, and then I'll be back to show you how everything looks finished up. Okay guys, I'm back, and all I've done is I've just used my adhesive to put all of my pieces down, and I actually think my black piece is a little bit crooked, just a tiny bit, but it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. So then I did some stamping, so let me show you. I did the stamping up here, and I got a little carried away with the hearts, but it's okay. It'll be fine. So then on this side, I have a circle here because I'm going to show you a technique with some stamping. But what I've done is I took my stamps from Ali Edwards. This one says "Have More Fun." And I did that in black right in the middle, and then I did some white stitching right around the circle, and then I added 2 of the hearts. So here's a tip: if you're using white StazOn, that's what I'm going to be using today to do my white stamping. If you stamp with this and it's not as dark as you want it to be, you see those hearts right here? So all I did was I took my white gel pen and I went right over that stamped image, and it darkened it up a little bit. So when you're using your white gel pen, before you put your white gel pen to paper, what you want to do is just roll it around a little bit on your finger, and that will warm this ink up and it gets it flowing, and then your white gel pen will not skip when you're using it, and then that white ink will just wipe right off your hand. So the second circle has this camera, and how freaking cute is that white in that camera? Like, I'm dying, you guys. This is so cute. And I really thought I didn't like that camera, like the shape of it, but just by adding a little bit of white to that image really makes it pop. So then I did the same thing, the white stitching. So let me show you this next technique with this circle. So I'm going to zoom you guys in. And we're going to grab a piece of scratch paper. We're just going to use this green piece because I don't have anything here. So I'm going to take this stamp, and you can do this with any stamp. So I'm sorry that these aren't Stampin' Up stamp sets. I know that can be a little bit frustrating, and this one from Ali Edwards is not available. It's an actual story kit stamp that I get every month, so that one's not available, but this camera one may be available. I will try to find it. But you can do this with any stamp that you have. So this one says ha, like it's like laughing, like, right? Like ha ha ha. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this over and over on this circle. So I just have my black ink pad right off to the side. And I'm going to start by going off of this circle. So you see that? And because you can see how I didn't stamp, like I didn't put enough pressure right up here. So just don't put pressure on another part and people will think that you meant to do it. So then let's use our white gel pen again. And I just want to add that stitching. Okay, so can you guys see that? A couple of my stitch lines skipped, like right there. It skipped, and that's because I was going fast and my ink wasn't completely warmed up and flowing very well. So that's okay because I feel like it kind of coordinates with this where I didn't press it. So let's bring our page back over here. Okay, so now I'll put this one over here. I popped this circle up, and then I'm not popping the other 2 up. So one quick thing that I probably would do different if I had planned this out better is this circle right here is very heavy, meaning there's a lot of images on it, like it's a lot of ink and it's very dark, and I feel like it's not balanced. So I probably, if I would have planned this out better, I probably would have put this one in the middle and then had these 2 framing it, and that would have been a better balance. And this black also pulls off of this piece right here. So it would have coordinated a little bit better, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to try to pull it up because, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just if I was planning things out, I would have done that. So let me show you guys my pocketed piece, and let me show you something really fun. This was actually my friend Chris's idea when we were talking about this. She had this idea. So I have a yellow card base right here. So this is just a piece of crushed curry, which coordinates with our designer paper, and I cut this at 8.5. It was an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. I cut it in half and it gave me a standard card. So I created this card. Remember, this card is going to go in our pocket right here. I'm sorry about that glare, you guys. So this is going to go right in my pocket, and look how stinking cute this is. It's just that little camera. I added a little bit of white to the camera, and then I did the stitching, and then I added this live, laugh, love. And so this will go right next to it. But you could totally trim this down and make a card. You would just trim the edges down here and put it on your card base, and it would be a perfectly cute card to send out. I love this idea. And then your circle could have any image in it you want it. It doesn't have to be a camera, but it totally could be. So I will link the Stampin' Up stamp set also that coordinates with this paper that has one of the cameras in it. I don't know why I didn't buy it, because you guys know I buy all the stamps that have cameras in them, but it has one of these cameras in them. The other thing that you could do is just take one of these cameras and cut it out and then put it right in that circle, and then you have a really simple card. So for today, I'm going to take this card right here. We're going to stick it in this pocket. And then in these white spots right here, that's where I'll have photos. So this will be on one side in a 12 by 12 page protector, and I'll link that. Stampin' Up carries those in the supply list below this video or over on my blog post. Okay, so then on the back side, I have this design, okay, because if you are opening your album up, okay, because this is a 6 by 12, you're going to open this up and you're still going to have this design that layers onto this, which is one of my favorite things about Project Life, the way that these pages can layer together. So it's still going to coordinate, and then I'll have photos here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this project today. Remember that I'm giving away a stamp set for every $50 for a $50 order. So when you place an order with me and you spend $50, I have the Dare to Dream stamp set that I'm giving away. So you'll want to make sure you check out the host code down below and the supply list on my website. And of course, you guys, I will have photos for you to check this out over on my website. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will be back later this week to share another project with you.